Good day, everybody. This is John Morrow, Distinguished Toastmaster, and also the author of the book, I Never Noticed, My Journey Through Alzheimer's with Mom. We have been talking about the power word that I personally have chosen, and in sharing it with you, it's not to convince you that it should be your power word. It's just to let you know that I think the problem with resolutions, if I could come up with some kind of excuse, since I have failed terribly when it comes to the subject of resolutions and keeping them, is that you need to really understand the root word for a resolution. And it comes actually, for me, from a verb context. The word is resolve. Now, this is not to resolve a problem. It's not, I have my New Year's resolution. I resolve to hopefully lose so many pounds. Too much room in there for backing out of your commitment. But if you look at the word resolve and look at its definition from a verb point, as I have told you, it means to make a definite plan of action. Definite. We need to understand that if we're going to be successful, we have to be committed, genuine, authentic, and deliberate. Intentional, if you would like. Resolve is an intentional action. And in the drill down process that I've gone through in the previous videos, I've talked to you about the acronym that my wife Donna and I came up with. And we so far have shared with you not just the word resolve, but then what each of the letters represents to us. And I want to again point out, if resolve was the word that you were to choose, these drill down letters, which we say represent traits, actions, and behaviors of individuals with resolve, you might choose different words because there are many words in the thesaurus that could fit this particular word. But these are the ones we reviewed so far. The first letter in resolve obviously is the letter R, and that letter is resilient or resilience. And resilience is important because I think the reason why a lot of people give up on resolutions, why a lot of people fail to follow through on goals, is partly because they're not resilient, they're not tough enough. And it requires a thick skin because you will meet with resistance. You will get pushback. You will hit spots where you will not succeed and you will question your motives. Resilience says, I know my goal is achievable, I know my goal is realistic, and I know that I will only reach that goal if I persist. So resilience is the first letter. The second letter is E. Never go into anything without enthusiasm. Let's just be honest. The people that get the most done are the ones that exercise enthusiastic energy. And so enthusiasm is a part of resolve, and that's a trait in people with resolve. The next letter is the letter S. I believe in service-minded behavior, a servant's attitude. The reason why? One of the words that's attached to a service-minded individual or to a servant-hearted person is a selfless nature. That is the only way that you can be successful and bring people along with you on your road to success. The passage to success has never been and will never be achieved when you are an island unto yourself. You must begin to understand it is a road best traveled with allies, with friends, with comrades at arms, with individuals that are hungry for success and are hungry to see you succeed as well. And further, you demonstrate to them through your selfless behavior, through your servant-minded attitude, that you want them to also enjoy equally the same kind of success, and you want to see them achieve it, and you want to be there to help them do it. Then we move to the letter O, which is the center word in this 7-letter word. And to me, it's the anchoring word, and this is the last thing that we spoke about when we were together last time. O stands for organized. And organization is very important because you may have heard the phrase, make a plan, work the plan. Make a plan, work the plan. But it's not enough to just make a plan. You've got to be able to see what type of an organizational structure is going to help you achieve that objective, that plan, to stay on track. Organization actually helps you because what you're doing is you're arranging the furniture in the room, or you're setting up the landmarks along the path that you're going so that you know what to look for from time to time to let you know that you're going in the right direction. Organized people see things as where they should be, and when something unexpected pops in, because they're organized, they have the opportunity to either determine, is this something that we can add to the matrix to help us succeed, or do we need to shuttle it aside, or do we need to rethink the plan and make a change at this spot? There's nothing wrong with adaptation. The point I'm trying to say is that organized people are not surprised when something happens, and they have a plan already in place so that they know how to stay on track. That brings us to the fifth letter in resolve. And that letter is the letter L. L. And I wondered about L. Is it leadership? Well, let me tell you, people with resolve exercise leadership. That's true. But I think there's something even more important about people with resolve. I believe people with resolve, at least from my perspective as a professional communicator and as a professional licensed legal expense specialist and an Alzheimer's family member and caregiver who has seen and understands the consequences of Alzheimer's and what a lack of preparation through failure to notice the signs has resulted in. That is L for learner. Learning. Learning is something we should be engaged in every day. You've heard me refer to Mark Guy, an outstanding speaker, but also a dear, close personal friend. And Mark has quoted a phrase that we are all lifelong learners, or at least we should be. After all, I don't believe that any college, any postgraduate facility, any specific job, any career path, and of course certainly not any kind of education that we received in the remedial, in the preschool, in the elementary, in the middle, in the secondary, and so forth, has equipped us fully that we know everything we need to know. The reality of it is that life is a learning laboratory. And every day there are experiments that we are engaged in as we learn new things. Some of those things we try and we see that they don't work. Or we try them and they fail. And we wonder, is the failure because it's not the right thing, or is it simply because I didn't really learn it and I need to go back and try it again and practice and prepare better? And then there are those who simply ignore. And because they ignore, they miss a tremendous opportunity to learn something that could make a big difference in their life later on. That was the lesson that I learned in the focal point story, where you look at that picture and you imagine that this is a millisecond or a nanosecond in time in your brain, that, as has been referred to by a lot of authors, that 1/20th of a second moment where your eyes are focused on one thing, but your brain, including the unconscious mind, is seeing 85% of that picture. The 15% is the part you're focused on. That's the part you're learning about consciously, but your brain is storing the other 85% unconsciously. And that information may be incredibly invaluable to you. Did you learn anything from it? Or did you find out later through deja vu, or through a sudden event that occurred and that memory was suddenly stimulated to come to the front of your mind and you said, oh yeah, Now I remember. My lessons in Alzheimer's taught me that, because the issues that I said were present in the Alzheimer's journey with mother, and all of those factors that tell you a problem is coming were present from the beginning. So here's what you need to know. The letter L is important in resolve, because if you're not willing to learn, and if you're not hungry for knowledge, I promise you your resolve will wane, and the likelihood of you being successful in achieving your goals and meeting the year-end expectation will be diminished radically, perhaps maybe even utterly obliterated, only because one must be willing to be a learner. Next time I'll talk to you about the letter V, and it is an exciting letter indeed, but it's something that all of us can benefit from. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. I'm John Morrow. Have a great day.